coin collectors continue to make these mistakes when they're buying coins to leave a legacy or to leave them to their family members. Now, my name is Daniel, and you are watching CoinHelpu. I am a coin dealer. I do this for a living, and I see a lot of receipts and a lot of collections throughout the year. And I want to point out a few things that some of the mistakes, let's say, that people are making whenever they leave coins. Because we get a lot of estates and we get a few collections that come in from someone who has a deceased, and people expect to get a certain amount of money, or they were told it was worth a lot of money, or it was a great investment. And then they are disappointed when they find out that the coins are not what they thought they were or were told. So we're going to get started on this because it's a very important video. So we're going to go over 8 mistakes that I see, common mistakes that I see, that coin collectors are doing right now before they leave it to their family. And I do want to say this: if you are leaving coins to your family and they don't like coins or care about coins, you're probably better off leaving them the money. At least get a last will and testament. You have to do that. I mean, one of the two things, because if they don't care about the coins, then it's going to be meaningless. You should collect it because you like it, but make sure you leave something in there to let them know and how it's split up and the actual values. So let's get started. Let's talk about some of these mistakes that I see. Before we get started, though, I do want to add one other thing, and it's very important here. If you already know that you are paying a lot of money for some of these things and you don't care, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with buying what you like to buy, what you enjoy buying, something that appeals to you. But what I want to tell you is this: make sure that you let your loved ones know why it means so much to you, regardless of what you paid for it. Know the actual value of it. And if you have to, leave notes why you collected this, why you bought this for this much. It wasn't about the money. It was because it meant something to you personally, whether you're a World War II veteran or a Vietnam veteran, or whether you just love a certain president or a politician or whatever it might be. Let them know why, so they understand why you paid $70 for something that you could get $30 anywhere else, but because you liked the way it was packaged, because you loved what it stood for and how it looked to you. Those things are kind of important. It helps them understand why you enjoyed this and why you did that. The perfect example is Grandpa had a $1,000 bag of Eisenhower dollars. They were from circulation. They were from change. Bought them from the bank probably. Everybody in the family was trying to figure out why he bought that and put that back if it wasn't going to be worth more money. And I told them, a couple of dollars a piece is what they're worth, and they couldn't figure it out. It befuddled them. So just put a note in there saying, hey, I thought maybe they might be worth a little bit more, or I just love Ike, so I wanted to buy a $1,000 bag of Ike dollars. It only cost me $1,000. Whatever it is, if you can, try to do that and help your loved ones who don't collect coins. I mean, that's, like I said, that's one other thing I want to add. Number 8 or 1 or whichever, because they're not in really any particular order, but I am going to go over 8 mistakes that I see, is buying from companies like American Mint and thinking that it's an investment, okay? Because it goes right back to what I just said. You're going to overpay, or you're going to buy plated stuff. You're going to buy stuff that's packaged, and you're going to pay for the packaging more than you are the coin. That's okay as long as you understand that's what you're doing and you let your family members know that's what you did. Buying coins from grading companies that are not PCGS and NGC, they don't have the same market share. That's another thing I see people doing. If you're going to buy a coin that only, and this happened, that is only known for less than 100 examples, you might want to make sure that it's in an NGC or PCGS holder. Because if it's in some other holder, it's not going to hold the value, and it's probably going to be cleaned or a problem coin, probably packaged by some auction company or some private company or some individual. I've got over here on my website all of these grading companies. I mean, most of them were never even a real grading company. Just some flight by night, someone made it up and started selling it on eBay. And even if they are legit companies that actually have a website and accept submissions, you can put as many 89cc's in these holders as you want. They will never bring the money. They'll always be purchased as raw coins or ungraded coins. Clean coins. taking the seller's word for it that the coins are not clean and buying these BU rolls of Morgan dollars, BU rolls of walking half dollars. I've seen it so many times, and the coins are just over dipped, cleaned, harshly cleaned. We're not just talking about restored, we're talking about harshly cleaned. You can see this. I have on my website several articles. If you don't like watching my videos, you can come over here and you can do the little search on my website and find all these articles that I've written on how to identify clean coins. I've had these up for years, and I keep them updated. The next thing is buying, let's say, huge estate coin collections. Basically seeing quantity over quality. If I was going to buy something like this, I'm going to go to an auction or whatever, instead of doing this, which is not a great thing to buy in the first place, INB is not, go buy a 93S Morgan dollar, a 1909 SVDB, but buy it graded. Buy one that's authentic. Buy one from a reputable dealer. Don't just buy one because you're trying to make a better deal, because you will lose money on a fake coin. Buy something like that. Buy key dates instead of the quantity. Quantity is okay, but to a certain limit. You'll also find out it's easier to store the quality versus quantity. I mean, a shoebox of gold is going to be worth than 3 safes full of silver. So, you got to think of that kind of thing, or at least it can. Buying basically coins that are graded and they have a signature on them, or the label says first strike or whatever. I don't recommend falling into that. But like I said, this also falls in. I've sold this stuff myself, but this also falls into, if you do buy it because you like the signature, because you have, it means something to you, that's okay. But just know you are overpaying that label. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee of future value or increase in value. But what I'm seeing is that some of these companies are calling people up, okay, at least someone who responds to an ad, and they're trying to tell you, because it has Reagan's signature on it, or the Mint's former Mint director's signature on it, that this is going to really be a great investment for the future. That's where the problem arises. Nothing wrong with buying this if you like it, but know that it's not going to increase in value greatly, and they're overcharging you so much now because of that signature that you're not going to recoup part of what you paid for it. I know I've seen someone walked in here with a collection and a big old briefcase. I mean, it was a big old satchel full of this stuff with graded coins, and pulled them out, and they were all signatures. They bought them years ago, back when the signature started, and they paid so much for it. Even with gold being at a record high in 2020, they still was going to lose money on those coins. Buying anything from TV. Here, I did this video on it. I've seen enough of this that you are going to overpay. If you like it and you understand it, I get all that. I hate to be redundant here, but I'm not telling you not to buy this stuff if you know what you're doing. If you know this is, and just make sure your family members understand why you bought this, why you paid $80 for something that you could go on eBay and buy for $25 or less. Because the dealer, coin dealer, is going to tell them this, and they're going to be like, well, I see the receipt here, and you're telling me you're only going to pay me, basically a little over face for this. And he paid like way over face. It can create tension. It can create misunderstandings. You don't want that. So you want to clarify why you did what you did. Buying copies like this. You see it all the time. This is a 1933 tribute proof, but it's not from the U.S. Mint. The U.S. Mint doesn't put copy on their coins. This has copy on it. Copy means it doesn't have any value, really, just what you put on it. National Collectors Mint is not the U.S. Mint. So I just wanted to cover those, a few things that I see all the time. If you're leaving coins to your family, that is fine. If you know you're overpaying a little bit for things, or just buying things based off of what you love, that's fine. Let your family know. Also, if you are not putting together a last will and testament, then you need to leave them money. So you might think of another way of doing it, or at least with the last will and testament, you've got an attorney involved, and then you got an executor, and that they can actually sell it or handle it. I mean, this happens all the time as a coin dealer, and get a fair market value, and then split the money and give it to the family. But some people just don't want coins. That's just the way it is. You can't change that. And if they're not properly directed on how to get rid of it, then someone's going to get more than the other, and you're going to have infighting. Your family. You don't want to leave your family set up for failure, because they are going to probably argue over money. And you just don't want that. You want to alleviate that. You don't want to go to your grave thinking, oh my gosh, what did I do? Most people, they don't think that. They suddenly pass, or they pass in their sleep, and then they don't realize what they've left a mess to their entire family, and that those family members are no longer getting along. I mean, I've seen it too many times. You don't want to do that. So thanks for watching my latest video. Please like, share, and comment, and have a great day.